Meher Baba ki jai. So let's start today's reading with My Wish. From G,
Avtar,
over to you.
Mayor Baba ki Jai. Thank you, Karthik. My wish. The lover has to keep the wish of the beloved. My wish for my lovers is as follows. 1. Do not shirk your responsibilities. 2. Attend faithfully to your worldly duties, but keep always at the back of your mind that all this is Baba's. 3. When you feel happy, think, Baba wants me to be happy. When you suffer, think, Baba wants me to suffer. 4. Be resigned to every situation and think honestly and sincerely. Baba has placed me in this situation. 5. With the understanding that Baba is in everyone, try to help and serve others. 6. I say with my divine authority to each and all that whosoever takes my name at the time of breathing his last comes to me, so do not forget to remember me in your last moments. Unless you start remembering me from now on, it will be difficult to remember me when your end approaches. You should start practicing from now on. Even if you take my name only once every day, you will not forget to remember me in your dying moments. Avtar, Meher
Meher
Baba
Baba
Ki
ki
Jai.
jai.
Over to you, Karthik.
Thank you so much for reading My Wish. So, from a progress perspective, this is our 15th session already as far as Bal Natu's book is concerned. So, we are at page 299, and let's just we're at physical page 299, going to the next chapter. And this is about Baba's love for animals. Would you be able to start reading first, Ashok, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I will be.
Sure. Right.
Avtar, Meher Baba Ki Jai. Chapter 20, Meher Baba's Love for Animals, 1948. Bhuti joins the Baba party. When Meher Baba set out from Ahmednagar on March 25th for the memorable and significant tour to Uttarkashi in the Himalayas, five of the Mandali accompanied him. When they came back, there had been an admirable addition, a blinking black puppy, lively and light footed. How did it come to join the party? In the course of visiting the hilly region of Uttarkashi, Baba had to walk for miles over narrow footpaths. A few of the trails at high elevations were steep and perilous. On one such walk, the puppy was purchased for 5 rupees from a Bhutani trader. While returning to Birla House, where the party was staying in Uttarkashi, Iraj had to carry the smart, tiny dog over his shoulder in a sling. While climbing along a dangerous narrow track on a high range, the party came to a deep valley and had to cross over to an improvised narrow bridge made of bamboo sticks. It was hardly a foot wide. On such a risky crossing, it was dangerous to have anything unsteady on one's back, so Eric felt compelled to let the puppy loose. As it followed them, the puppy just missed a fall and somehow clung to the edge of the rock with its little claws. Fortunately, it could be rescued, and this lucky, fluffy roly poly continued with the Baba party right to Ahmednagar. Baba personally looked after it on the journey. It was first named Gol Gol. Gol in Hindi means round. Later, it was named Bhuti, cross reference 85, as it came to as it came from pedigreed stock in Bhutan, a small state to the north of India in the Himalayan region. You want to see that cross reference, right? She was called Booty because she had brown paws.
I don't know how that makes it booty.
I don't
I
know
thought it
that.
was to do with Bhutan. Anyway,
We were
let's
at
continue.
uh, that part is over, is it? Beautiful,
Yeah, that's over. Yeah.
beautiful Booty, a dutiful watchdog. In due course, Booty grew into a watchdog. She had a collar of soft, long black fur, which made her look very graceful. She developed a shapely body, and her gait was elegant, like a dancer's. But with all her beauty of form, she was a terror to strangers and intruders trespassing on Merazad premises. In the early 50s, when Baba would go out on must or Russian tours, Bhuti would be trusted to watch at Merazad and the companion of Kaka Baria, the manager of Merazad estate. It's interesting how many stories are linked with Merazad.
Yeah. So, the other thing, right? The current wave for the last year or so on Baba Zoom is they use different passwords, all of which are pets of Baba. They keep rotating. So, Bhuti was the last. Yeah, go ahead.
क्या हो गया यार?
What happened?
Um,
Can you hear me?
no, no, I can hear you now. Yes. Can
Yeah,
you all hear me also?
yeah.
Hello.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Uh, Bhuti had a peculiar way of guarding the premises at night. She would begin her rounds at the then with measured strides, she would go to the other end of the house. In this way,
Okay, your audio seems
sometimes
to have
and repeat
trouble.
the round.
Ashok, your audio seems to be having trouble.
Okay. In that case, can somebody else
Uh,
read?
yeah. Anybody else in a position to read? Maybe
Okay,
I'll continue for a bit.
Jai Baba,
Yeah, you can read, Sunil. Yeah, go ahead. Jai Baba.
Jai
Jay
Baba.
Baba. Thank you.
Please start from Bhuti itself, from the whole paragraph.
Bhuti had a peculiar way of guarding the premises at night. She would begin her rounds at the main gate and bark loudly for a minute or so. Then, with measured strides, she would go to the other corner near the well and growl. In this way, she would finish the other two corners, rest for some time, and then repeat the round. Perhaps she had evolved her own code of barking. In those days, the farms and fields around Mirazad were not inhabited as they are at the present. In the daytime, few men or cattle would be seen moving about in the fields, and this being a semi forested area, a fox or a hyena would sometimes sneak into the Mirazad compound. Bhuti had fought with and killed more than a score of hyenas. She would lift the dead animal and place it before Kaka's door as a trophy. Whenever Baba was away on tour, someone had to report to him on the welfare of the resident Mandli at Meherazad, including Bhuti. Bhuti loved Baba very dearly. Could you move the page, Karthik? Jai Baba, am I audible?
Jay Baba,
Yes,
Karthik,
yes.
you do.
Karthik may be on a call or something. Yeah.
Uh,
Karthik?
let's give it. So this is a dog at Meherazad, Bhuti, is it?
Yes. Bhuti, Cracker.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Dog names. Remember?
I
Bhuti
don't
cracker.
remember.
There was
Sorry.
one, yeah, there was one which came from Bhutan somewhere, no? From the
Karthik
hills.
has moved out of the call. So anyway,
Mm-hmm. Maybe he'll reconnect. Maybe it's got hanged or
San,
something.
Sanjay ji, in the interim, can we have a bhajan for you? It's too early, I know, but just to
Oh, I'm just lying down.
either from you or from Nomita.
Namita ji should sing.
Yes, Nomita ji should sing. Nom should sing.
Yeah.
It's
बाबा मैं चरणन छोड़ न जाऊं, दाता मैं चरणन छोड़ न जाऊं, जहाँ मैं तुमको सुख लागत है, जहाँ मैं तुमको सुख लागत है, पाबिन कछु नहीं जाऊं, पाबिन कछु नहीं चाहूं, बाबा मैं चरणन छोड़ न जाऊं, महर में चरणन छोड़ न जाऊं। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
wow, Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Very,
Yeah,
very
Avatar
nice.
Meher Baba.
Jai Baba.
Sanjay, next.
Jai Baba.
One more, one
तुम
more.
जस राखो कैसे रहूं मैं, तुम जस राखो कैसे रहूं मैं, तुम बिन नाही चाहो कछु मैं, तुमको ध्यावो तुमको गावो, तुमको ध्यावो तुमको गावो, तुम पर बलि बलि जाओ, आ तुम पर बलि बलि जाओ, प्रभु मैं चरण छोड़ न जाऊं, प्रभु मैं चरण छोड़ न जाऊं, मात पिता गुरु सखा तुम ही हो, ओ, तुम प्रियतम परमेश्वर तुम हो, मधुसूदन आंधी हो प्रलय हो, दामन धर ही राहु, आ दामन धर ही राहु, प्रभु मैं चरणन छोड़ न जाऊं, प्रभु मैं चरणन छोड़ न जाऊं, जा मैं तुझको सुख लागत है, पाबिन कछु नहीं चाहूं, चाहूं, प्रभु मैं चरणन छोड़ न जाऊं। और मेहर बाबा की जय।
Har Meher Baba
And
ki jai. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so
beautiful,
much.
soulful,
This,
and we have Karthik and Kama both now on the call now.
yeah, good, good.
Jai Baba.
So
Over to
maybe
you.
I'm
Karthik
sorry.
went off. Karthik went off
Yeah.
to fetch Kama.
Yeah.
Jai Baba.
My Wi-Fi just crashed, and I'm now on mobile internet. But I hope if this continues uninterrupted. So, are you? I think you finished
Yes,
up to this paragraph, right, Sunil?
yes, I did.
Yeah, yeah.
Booty loved
So,
Baba
we
dearly.
very dearly. Yeah,
She
please
was called
continue.
Booty. What's that at the bottom? Footnote. Previous
Yeah, yeah.
page.
We read that footnote.
Oh, we
Ashok
did.
read it. She was called Booty because she had brown paws.
Okay. All right.
Okay, let's continue.
And the pictures of her taken with him remind us of those lovely days when she lived and played with the God man. It was a perfect companionship. Baba once stated that when God becomes man to give spiritual push to mankind in his divine status as avatar, he simultaneously becomes a perfect friend for each and every species in creation. When Bhuti died, she was buried at Mehrabad premises, the place that she had guarded so well and loved so deeply. Baba was the first to cast some flowers and earth over her body. Indeed, Bhuti was a blessed soul. Cham resigns to the master's will. Reference to Bhuti's life in the company of Meher Baba summons to mind Baba's tender affection and sympathetic admiration for the animal world. His love for pets demonstrated a remarkable aspect of his life. In different periods, he had different pets with him. He had a deer named Lily, a pair of bullocks named Raja and Wazir, a camel named Bola, monkeys named Lucky and Champu, a myna bird, a parrot, a peacock named Moti, and pigs named Nati and Gati. He also loved cows and had a water buffalo named Masi. He had a mare named Shiva. Baba paid personal attention to the needs and feeding of each animal. His coat pockets, which sometimes bulged with letters from his dear ones, would also overflow with carrots when he visited Shiva. He once observed, I love animals. They're a part of my creation. Nevertheless, it seems that Baba loved dogs most. He had a pair of dogs named Jingo Bingo, Rajarani, and Sunny Bunny. I will give a short account of a few of the dogs prior to 1948 who had a good fortune to be in his company. Chum was brought to Mehrabad as a pup, received from a Baba family at Akbar Press in Ahmednagar, a place Baba often visited beginning in early 30s. Somehow or other, he liked this pup and very carefully and lovingly brought it up, at times feeding it with his own hands. Soon it grew to be a big dog. Baba's arrival at Mehrabad was an occasion of great delight to Chum. He had a huge, handsome frame and would play with Baba while keeping his forelegs right on Baba's chest. In short, Chum seemed to be Baba's favorite chum. He was also trusted watchdog on Mehrabad Hill. In August 1935, Baba returned from Mount Abu and the Ambika Hills in Rajasthan. On his arrival, he wished to continue his seclusion in the cabin that was specially built on Mehrabad Hill. Chum would lie at the door of the cabin, and no one dared to enter the room and disturb Baba. When the period of seclusion was over, Baba would visit the kitchen for lunch, and Chum accompanied him. Even there, he would not allow anyone to be near Baba. Baba casually remarked that as a watch at the door of the cabin, Chum had Chum had had an uncommon experience. Baba did not disclose the nature of Baba did not disclose the nature of the experience, but he said that it had made Chum over faithful in not allowing anyone to go near him. Baba soon broke him of this habit. One day, when Baba's sister Mani visited him, Chum tried to pounce on her. At this, Baba gave up and gave Chum a light drubbing with a small stick that lay at hand, and all the time Chum kept his head bent downwards towards Baba's feet. Perhaps he was bowing down to him as an act of confession for the crime committed. It was all in the spirit of complete resignation to the master's will. Chand's attitude and behavior vividly brings back to my mind one of the significant and suggestive discourses given by Baba. Stone stage, worm stage, dog stage. Once Baba was asked about the principal mental stages through which his lovers have to pass in order to see him as he really is. Upon hearing the question, Baba broke into a gay smile at first, but because of profundity involved in the answering, he then looked solemn. With a tender, beautiful radiance on his face, his eyes glowing with benevolent love, he conveyed, I am the eternal beloved, drawing the infinite number of lovers to myself in infinite ways. So they have experiences of innumerable types. They have to pass through endless stages. However, for the sake of intellectual understanding, these can be broadly divided into following three stages. The first is the stone stage. One feels unconsciously drawn towards God or the God man. Here, the initiative is entirely with me. One feels attracted to me as a particle of the iron to the magnet. The second is worm stage. Herein, the mind constantly wriggles like a worm. The person worships me, yet sometimes disbelieves me. He adores me, he distrusts me. Doubts and devotion go together. The pull of love, however, prevails in the end. In this phase, various types of impressions are executed. The third is the dog stage. The dog has absolute faith in the master. He just moves with his master here, there, anywhere. In a sense, he has no will of his own. He only knows to follow the master without ifs and buts. Once a lover arrives at this stage, he is blessed. Meher Baba's beloved pet,
If I
Chand,
can pause you,
yes.
who is at what stage? Dog, stone.
They're trying to be dogs.
Okay,
That's
good.
a good answer.
I am
Yeah,
worm.
yeah,
I'm worm trying to
yeah.
get to dog.
Mostly
Yes.
worm. Most times worm trying to be dogs.
Ye- Yes.
So
Yes.
this reminds of the book, that small booklet, Dog to God by Atrishi, I think somebody.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know the
Rahul.
person. Rahul
Rahul Atishi.
Atrishi, I think. Yeah,
Atishi.
yeah. I
Yeah. Yeah.
think it's a beautiful book, worth reading.
So we are
Yes.
You get a lot
Yes.
of inspiration from
inspiring,
dog. Yeah. Yeah,
Jay
Baba.
Baba.
inspiring dogs.
Also,
So,
in
Sunil, what do
Bengal,
you think?
Same,
is
same.
my voice clear?
Aspiring to be a dog.
Jay Baba. Um,
Yeah, Ashok.
yeah, it also brings in absolute surrender and absolute real surrender and real obedience. I mean, whatever you know, the dog or whether we are a dog or a worm, but uh, complete and absolute surrender and complete and absolute obedience. I mean, that's what brings us to closer to Baba, Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Shall I continue?
Please, please.
Meher Baba's beloved pet Chum literally demonstrated the third stage mentioned above until the end of his life when he died of cancer. Befitting the faithfulness he had shown, he was buried at Mehrabad Hill. At present, we find his little tomb under the banyan tree by the side of the tomb built in the memory of Meher Baba's intimate ones who have dropped their bodies while serving him as the eternal beloved.
So where is the banyan tree? I wonder. Is it between Baba's house and Mandli Hall? I think
I don't
there's
remember.
one big tree there. Yeah, I don't
No, no,
remember.
no. Near Baba's parents' samadhi, there is a banyan tree, right? Under which there are small samadhis.
In Mehrazad?
Mehrabad.
No, this is Mehrazad.
Oh,
This is Mehrazad. Oh, wait a
There
minute.
should be one.
No.
Mehrabad.
You're right. You're right. This is Mehrabad Hill.
Mehrabad Hill. Yeah.
Parent Samadhi.
Chum,
That's
Chum
the.
and Cracker. Chum and Cracker, both Samadhis are at Mehrabad Hill. Cracker is also
Oh,
there.
the one to our left if you're facing the Samadhi. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a tree.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
Yes.
there,
Yes. Yes.
there.
There is a banyan
There,
tree.
there.
Beautiful banyan tree.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
Lovable Kippy and worthy warrior. Kippy was Elizabeth Patterson's pet Boston Terrier. In July 1937, Meher Baba stayed with his eastern and western woman, Bunley, in the Villa Caldana at Cannes on the French Riviera. During this period, Kippy was privileged to be near Baba for a long time and have prasad at his hands. In November, Baba left Cannes for India and Elizabeth was asked to return to the United States. Irene Bilou from Switzerland, who was to visit India shortly, was asked to bring Kippy with her. Later, she related that Baba's departure from the villa. Later, she related that after Baba's departure from the villa, Kippy got on Baba's seat on the sofa and rarely left it for 3 days. Kippy sorely felt the separation from Baba, and she was one of his lovable pets. Warrior, another Baba's dog worth mentioning, was a black Alsatian. In 1941, Baba's life consisted mostly of a long period of seclusion. In August that year, he confined himself in a small room on Mehrabad Hill, and no one was allowed to enter. The room had only a small slit through which Baba would hold out the alphabet board and convey instructions to Vishnu, who was entrusted with the work of attending to urgent correspondence. In those days, only the worthy warrior was allowed into Baba's room and to sit or rest in his physical presence. By the time this phase of strict seclusion was over, Warrior fell sick. In spite of best treatment, he died within a week or so. Finding one of his disciples almost in tears over the loss of his favorite pet, Baba conveyed to the Manli. Warrior was a fortunate dog. During the phase of strict seclusion, I wanted the company of a faithful soul other than human in my room. Warrior fulfilled that exigency and was expected of him. Now his work is over and he's gone. No one should feel sorry for his death. He is fully rewarded. Henceforth, he will not incarnate as an animal, but as a human. Today, we find the small tombs of Kippy and Warrior in line with Chums. So, is this Vishnu the same guy who accidentally uh, looked into Baba's cabin or something and then Baba had to hold
Yes.
him? Yeah.
Yes. You're right. Yes. In the seclusion, the nocturnal, I think night watch.
Yeah, night watch or something. Love life in all its forms. Some may be interested in knowing more about Meher Baba's relationship with animals, so I will add a few excerpts from the letters on the subject. In 1957, one of Baba's dear followers from the West wrote to him about the ill treatment given to dogs in India. She also wished to know Baba's attitude towards animals. Deshmukh was asked to reply to her letters based on some points given by Baba. These replies were read to Baba at Guru Prasad in Pune before they were mailed to the lady. Some of the remarks are given below. I have noted with much interest and great concern your comments about the general treatment of dogs and other animals in India. I must frankly concede that dogs are not as well looked after in India as they are in the Western countries. But it is partly a side effect of the general low economic standards of living in this country. To regard the condition of dogs as indicative of the Indian attitude would surely be misleading. This is the heart of divinity, the thought for all that breeds, a bird, animal, or man. Beloved Baba, in his impersonal aspect, is concerned not only with the well being of man, but also with that of all other forms of life. According to him, all animals and even plants and trees are an inalienable part of the larger brotherhood to which we all belong. As a natural corollary of this, we have to be affectionate and considerate towards birds, animals, etc., not out of any sense of duty or even obligation, but out of the spontaneity of recognized values. Thus, according to beloved Baba, love for animals or birds would be more than sympathy or consideration. It is to naturally coordinate of acknowledged kinship with them. To deny love to birds or animals is, according to him, to repress one's own divinity. Beloved Baba's often Beloved Baba's often repeated mandate to humanity is love life in all its forms. I now come to another of your important questions. What is Meher Baba's attitude towards animals? Beloved Meher Baba is God and as such experiences himself in all living beings, including birds, animals, vegetables, etc. We cannot adequately raise any question about what's God's attitude towards animals. God cannot take up a specific attitude in relation to his creation because he has himself become that creation. Since beloved Meher Baba is an incarnation of God, there can be no question of his taking up any attitude towards any forms of his own being. However, many persons would be interested in knowing how beloved Baba treats animals. In this respect, all who have the opportunity to be with him have invariably observed that he loves birds and animals as much as he loves human beings. He often feeds them with his own hands, gets all their ailments attended to by competent doctors, and looks after them the same maternal care and love which we find expressed in relation to those humans who have the good fortune to come within his personal environment. Having said all this in favor of kindness to animals, I think it might be advisable to sound a note of warning against the possibility of making an ism out of it. From the point of view of evolution, the vegetable kingdom may be regarded as offering itself for the use of animals, and the animal kingdom is
Use
offering
of
itself.
for the use of mankind.
Oh, sorry. From the point of view of evolution, the vegetable kingdom may be regarded as offering itself for the use of animals, and the animal kingdom offering itself for the use of mankind. We could not pitch animalism against humanism, but this is just to bring out beloved Baba's dispensation of the only truth, which leaves no room for separative thinking and requires us never to forget the inviolable unity, that inalienable divinity of the life in all its forms. Nice. Maharaj, an animal mad must. Okay,
Before we go there, how many of us have had pets at home?
not me.
Not me.
Yeah, I had when very young when I was like sixth, seventh, eighth standard. That.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
we
Baba. I
had three,
also
four actually, one after the other. Yeah, sorry. But the last one, she met with an accident on highway in Amirpur itself. So after that, we never kept because she was so bereaved by her loss
Yeah.
that
Mm.
after that, I went off the peace. Yeah. Yeah, Baba.
uh, yeah, Baba. I also had one in Kashmir, and
Okay.
yeah, gave us a lot of joy.
Wonderful.
Do you?
Okay,
Yeah.
let's
So
continue. Yeah.
I just got a wild thought. You create sanskaras in your association with human beings. You must be creating sanskaras in association with the animals also,
I'm sure.
right?
I'm sure. But
Mhm.
I think, yeah,
Yeah, it is also said the especially the dogs take away some of your samskaras. They can foresee things, many of things that are about to happen are not in visible range. They are able to sense much better. I don't know
yes.
what is the theory behind this, but this is what is said. Yeah.
I
Take
think,
away
yeah,
sanskara.
they,
So especially that is why it is in the Mara this thing also Mahabharata also the Yudhishthir after the war he there was only one dog which left with him. The dog is especially is also linked to this in the spiritual way as well.
Datta is linked to Datta Sampradaya. I mean, he's there as a companion to Datta. And yes,
Okay.
I think they have. I mean, I don't know about sanskaras like Sunil was also asking, but yes, they have the. They are very close to humans, and they are able to, yes, see much more than what humans can, especially the aspects of the subtle world. I think they sense death before it happens. They have a role in the realm which is beyond what other animals have. And I think two categories of animals have that privilege. It's crows and dogs. Now, if you think about it, crows have also are given a lot of importance in our theology, in Hinduism as well, right? So you offer prasad to a crow and so on and so forth. So they have some significance there. But I don't know about ability to dissolve or help uh, act on our samskaras.
Uh,
Mm.
J Baba. Uh, dogs definitely have a very inborn sixth sense, and this 2022 calendar of Meher Baba and Meheramai, there is Baba holding a dog, and so it's very. I saw a photograph where also some architecture
Oh,
similar to
there.
MPR, where it must be in the Western world because it's taken much earlier, and where Baba and Meramai are holding onto a dog.
There are some lovely photographs of Baba with pets, Baba and Mara. There's so many of them. Lovely photographs. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. There's one that is Baba is kissing a horse. That's I think
Yes.
yeah, that's in
I
I
think
think
a white horse at that. Oh no.
Mahabaleshwar, Mahabaleshwar. And the
Okay.
Mandali Hall itself was a stable, right?
Oh, okay. At the British time.
Mandali Hall itself was a stable actually, because Mehra
Okay.
wanted a horse, white horse, and the Shiba, I think her name was, and she was I don't know who gifted and how did it came, but she was housed in the Mandali Hall.
Oh,
And she stayed there, and after that, when she probably went off or whatever, that room got started being used for meetings. It was Kacha, and then formally converted into a Mandali Hall. That's the story
interesting.
of the Mandali Hall. Yeah, it was a
Shiva is mentioned in the above
yeah,
pages, and in fact, she's a
yes,
mare
yes.
at that stage, but then she becomes a horse, I think, later. Yeah.
J
Okay.
Baba. Also at Sufism Reunited, there are organizations of charity, of education, and giving the food to the poor is all named under White Horse.
Yes. I think it's White Horse is
Yes,
part of the name. There's a longer name. Yeah.
it's White Horse. Yes, White Horse.
No, no, it's not White Horse alone. It's a longer name. It has White Horse. You're right.
Yeah, it has White Horse. Okay, I just remembered.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Okay. I
Jeva.
think we can also rotate the reading. Anybody can read if Sunil is, I mean, he's read for half an hour plus.
I can
I'm
read.
okay, but yeah, please go ahead, Jai Baba.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mahu. Thank you so much,
No,
Sunil.
no, somebody else
I'm a
wanted to
little.
also read.
No, no, it was
No?
just Sunil saying he can continue. I'm a bit below the weather
Yeah,
today. I was running a temperature last night, so I'm going to stay away from reading if I can.
oh, yeah, you should take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you. So
sure.
let's continue from Maharaj.
Okay.
Thank you.
Maharaj Jai Baba. Avatar Meh Baba Ki Jai.
Jay.
Maharaj, an animal mad masked. Meher Baba returned from the tour of the eastern and northern parts of India by the end of April 1948. During the month of May, he stayed mainly at Ahmednagar with some short visits to Mehrabad and Merazat. In May, Babadas brought a mast from Nagpur to the ice factory bungalow where the man Mandali resided. His name was Maharaj. Maharaj means emperor. It is also a term used to express respect for a person. People in India generally refer to a sadhu as Maharaj. The principal characteristic of this mast was his deep love and close, if you can roll it up a little bit, please, close sympathy, yeah, for animals. Some animals develop a strange affection for humans, but here was a mast who had an unusual fancy for animals. Maharaj was over 80 years of age. His beard was completely gray, but the hair on his head was black. At Nagpur, he used to keep over 2 dozen dogs around him. After his arrival at Ahmednagar, on the very first day as he returned to the bungalow from roaming about the roads, he gathered around him a few cows and a half a dozen dogs. The animals followed him in response to some inner appeal, and their number increased as the days passed by. During his 60-day stay, Maharaj spent most of his time under a tree near the bungalow. He seemed genuinely happy in the company of the animals. His favorite occupation was to feed these dumb souls with food supplied by Baba. Around him lay buckets of fodder, fodder for the cows and plates ready for dogs. Some saucers with crumbs of bread in them were seen hanging from the branches. They were meant for birds. The animals would fondly lie and rest around him without any reservations. One bullock showed a special affection for Maharaj. If you can please roll it up.
Yeah.
Thank
Understood.
you. Um, William Duncan wrote, there was one spirited brown and white bullock that would lick him all over with his tongue. The must would screw up his eyes when his face was being licked, or would lie supine between the forelegs of the bullock, while the front of his body was licked from head to foot. He seemed indeed to take pleasure in these abrasive yet loving baths, for while they were in progress, he would lie with his eyes closed and his hands behind his head. Baba remarked that Maharaj was a freak mast of a high order. He was very cooperative in Baba's spiritual work. As the master did not eat on his own, Baba would feed him daily with his own hands, morsel by morsel. As he was being fed, the master, yeah, the master did not eat on his own. Yeah, where are we? With his own hands, morsel. As he was being fed, the master would lift his eyes to Baba's and then would hastily look away. On May 14, Babadas was asked to take Maharaj, this animal mad master, back to Nagpur. It's amazing. The title is A Girl Meets Her Beloved Father. Meher Baba's visit to Uttarkashi in the month of April 1948 kept him away from his headquarters for about a month. During this period, mail was regularly received at Ahmednagar. In accordance with Baba's standing instructions, many of the letters were attended to by the Mandali concerned. Some letters required Baba's special attention. They were kept aside. The letters of those who had recently heard about Baba and who had written to him were especially brought to his notice. By way of illustration, I wish to cite here the case of a young girl who heard of Baba in 1948 and how Baba responded to her lovingly to help her develop the right attitude toward life. In this respect, a few fragments from the letters may reveal something of this beautiful relationship. The girl was residing at Pune. She was of a religious mind. By chance, she heard about Meher Baba and was greatly impressed by his mission of awakening the heart of humanity. Oh, this is nicely said. She felt deeply drawn to him and decided to write directly to him. Of her accord, she addressed Baba as her beloved father, and in her loving letter, she requested that he free her from the fetters that bound her to this Mayavic world. She also expressed her intense desire to have his darshan. This letter was read out to Baba, and he permitted her to see him in the month of May 1948 in the ice factory bungalow at Ahmednagar. With great joy, she came to Ahmednagar to meet her beloved father, Baba. With a deep feeling of delight, her spirit seemed to leap out to kneel at Baba's feet, and she tried to pour out her aspirations. Baba sat silently, his eyes gleaming with light. In the end, he gestured, quote, I know, I know. Baba's compassion drew out in her a fresh quality of faith, and with fresh enthusiasm, she began to think about and meditate on her beloved father as much as she could. It was a great joy to her. This first contact with Baba set all her pulses traveling Godward. Clearer
Throbbing,
became, hmm? Yeah.
throbbing Godward. Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. Her pulses throbbing Godward. clearer became the call that lay within her heart. She developed a great interest in reading the available books by and about Meher Baba. The small book Divine Theme, with its lucid explanations of the charts contained therein, impressed her the most. On some occasions, she began to feel the divine brilliance enveloping surrounding objects. Nice. The girl wished to convey her jubilation and exuberance to Baba. In one of her letters, she wrote, "Father, I feel the presence of God, but how will I see him?" As Baba heard the contents of the letter, he seemed pleased and gestured, "A lucky one." After her regular morning meditation one day, as this lucky one rested on her bed, half asleep and half awake, she had a remarkable experience. About this, she wrote, "Beloved Father, one day in my half awake state, I saw my subtle body going up and up, crossing rivers and jungles. It darted faster than the faster train. In the beginning," continued, "as it was going up, my gross body lay on the bed, enjoying a delightful breeze. But as the subtle body continued to soar higher with greater speed, presently my gross body felt that it was going to fall down from the coat where I was resting. In my attempt to prevent the gross body from falling down, I woke up." In reply to this letter, Baba conveyed by way of a hint that it was just the bare beginning of a long, long journey. Oh. Celibacy and Married Life. That's the title. And
Yeah, before
yeah.
we go there, how's your the 5 rules going? Have you kept at it?
I know you were coming at me with that. Actually,
Because there was meditation in the previous paragraph, now there's celibacy coming up. So I was reminded.
yeah. Well, definitely celibacy was one of them. And, I couldn't do my fasting as 1 meal a day. The reason is that uh, discomfort feeling of nausea continued on, and I had to take
Oh, okay.
medication, and I couldn't, in
Hmm.
the morning, I couldn't do it with empty stomach. So I had to take something in the morning. But the main
Sure.
1 meal a day remained the same. And
Wonderful.
meditation, I was going to ask you, I did meditation, but not every day. Was it the rule that we do an hour meditation every day?
Yes. Yes, that
That
was
I
the rule.
didn't do
Yeah.
every day. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it needs
Okay.
practice. Okay,
Sure.
celibacy and
Let's
married
continue.
life. Sure, let's continue. Celibacy and married life. As the girl felt more intimate with Father Baba, she asked his counsel on the problem that girls of her age with spiritual inclinations have to face. With overflowing love, she wrote to Baba, "Is it necessary for a girl to marry when she finds that the marriage is based more on money than on pure love? Can she not live alone and lead a pure life, relying on the grace of the Master? Can a girl get self-realization?" Wow, what a brave girl. In another letter, She mentioned a conflict that caused confusion in her mind. She was prepared to renounce this world if necessary. She stated, "Dear Baba, sometimes I get such a strong feeling that I should leave my home and go to some quiet place for meditation. Would that be good? But at the same time, I remember your words, be in the world, but not of it, and I stay back." After Baba's return to Ahmednagar from one of his mosque tours, Adi Irani sent replies to the girl based on Baba's instructions. Quote, Baba says that a married life strictly in adherence to one partner is not bad, but a single life with the grace of the Master, replete with aspirations Godward, is infinitely better. Baba told me to inform you that that constant remembrance of the one whom you consider to be your master will go a long way toward lessening the mental tension and bringing about peace of mind. He wishes you to know that not by leaving the world and your dear ones, continued, dear ones, will you be able to progress on the path. It is only by living in the world and trying to develop as detached an outlook on life as possible that you will again equippose and make real progress. Baba desires that you remember him always, in good times and in bad times, and thereby increase your faith in him, which alone will make you impervious to the ups and downs of life. Baba sends you his blessings, which will impart to you strength, patience, and courage. Meher Baba's words of advice have brought about many changes in outlook in the lives of his dear ones. About the problem of sex and married life, Baba stated, quote, promiscuity in sex gratification is bound to land the aspirant in a most pitiful and dangerous chaos of ungovernable lust. Sex in marriage is entirely different from sex outside marriage. Quote, as, oh, we went too much up. Just go up.
No, no, I just wanted to
You
say that
wanted to
that came
reference.
straight from, yeah, that came straight from Meher Baba's discourses,
Volume
146.
1, page 146. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Just as the life of celibacy requires and calls forth the development of many virtues, married life in turn also nourishes the growth of many spiritual qualities of utmost importance. The path of perfection is open to the aspirant, whether in celibacy or in marriage, and whether he begins from celibacy or from marriage will depend upon his sanskaras and karmic ties. So
That's
88.
another reference. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
another
that's from
reference. Yeah,
145, 146. Yeah.
in discourses. Yeah. Mhm. It should be borne in mind that the life of freedom is nearer to the life of restraint than, oh, I'm sorry. It should be borne in mind that the life of freedom is nearer to the life of restraint than to the life of indulgence, nearer to the life of restraint than to the life of indulgence. In parentheses, though in quality it is essentially different from both. And this is 89. References, yeah. Meher Baba has come amongst us to quicken this understanding, which will lead us all to the life of freedom, beginningless and endless. Oh, I wonder why he says beginningless and endless.
Yeah, freedom is being beginningless and endless anyway. So by the way,
Yeah,
so the
about
topic
freedom.
started with, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. About freedom, mainly, there are several quotes, but Baba talks about a spiritual freedom. And he says, the freedom here, nation's freedom, this individual freedom, and this and that, it's temporary and it's not gonna last. But the spiritual freedom, when you are free from your bindings and sanskaras, is what brings you joy and salvation. So always Baba refers to spiritual freedom. That's why I was wondering.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody else would like to read, Kartik.
Yeah, sure. Ashish, would you like to read?
Yeah, sure. Karthik, you're
Please
saying
continue.
something. You're saying something.
No, I was not. Yeah, I was saying, thank you. What I was saying was chapter 20 started with a heading which said animals and Baba, but I think it ended with an account of a lady. So that's, yeah, just aberration, minor aberration.
Okay.
Now we go to the next chapter, interviews at Rabat.
Interviews,
Ashish, go ahead.
interviews at Mehrabad, 1948. Sadhguru's grace, the matchless choice. One of my friends, an ardent Baba lover named Mauni, who was keeping silence, had first met Meher Baba at Satara in September 1947. As mentioned previously, at that time, Baba had given him a 6-month sadhana, which he sincerely practiced. During that period, he had some blissful visions of Baba. As he went out for walks in the morning, he would see Meher Baba's smiling face keeping him company. Once he saw Baba's full form. It grew so tall that it almost touched the skies, then vanished. Perhaps that was an indication of Meher Baba's all pervading presence. After the period of 6 months, Mauni began to inquire about the possibility of seeing Baba again. In February 1948, I conveyed to Baba Mauni's earnest desire to see him for the second time. Adi Senior asked him to visit Mehrabad with Mauni on May 15, 1948. Later, I received a telegram to the effect that the date fixed for the visit had been changed to June 1st, 1948, and accordingly, we arrived at Mehrabad a day early. Next morning, Baba arrived at Mehrabad from Ahmednagar. It was such a joy to see him moving around on the veranda of the new ashram building. In one of the rooms adjacent to hall, a green carpet covered the floor. Facing facing the door lay a mattress covered with a spotless white sheet. Soon we were summoned into the room. Dr. Abdul Ghani, Munsif, was with Meher Baba. Okay. We offered our respects and Baba motioned us to sit down. He was the first occasion I had to sit so close to Baba on the same carpet with him. I was delighted but felt a bit shy too. A Baba's behest, I related to him in a nutshell Mauni's wholehearted effort to abide by his orders. Baba expressed his happiness and dictated on his board. What I heard just now has made me happy. Tell me, Mauni, what you want. Dr. Ghani read Baba's board, and I conveyed it to Mauni in Marathi. Mauni felt greatly elated. He took out a piece of slate from his bag and wrote on it Sadguru Kripa, in bracket, the grace of perfect master. As I read these words, Baba's smiling face wore a profound expression, and he said, what a wish! Even seeing God is less important than the grace of the perfect master. But mind grace is not a cheap thing. It's rare, spontaneous happening. It is an unconditional benediction. To receive it, can yeah. To receive it, you have to prepare yourself to obey me 100%. Are you ready wholeheartedly? Next topic, a meat dish and a bottle of wine. At Baba's words, Mauni moved his fingers over his neck, meaning that he was ready to cut his throat if so ordered. At this, Baba replied, mostly through his lively gestures, but that is very easy. I am not asking you that. Cutting one's throat, leaving family and home are very easy things compared to obedience of my orders, which may at the outset appear very simple. Are you really ready to obey me? Think well before you say yes. Mauni, with newborn ardor, moved his head from right to left, meaning yes. Noticing this, Baba conveyed, if so, for 1 month beginning, if so, for 1 month beginning, tomorrow, have a non-vegetarian dish every morning and evening. As I translated these words in Marathi, there was a pause, which reached the climax as Baba added, and a bottle of wine at noon. Mauni is an ascetic type. He, he wears just a long dhoti and his needs are few. As far as possible, he does not allow people to touch his body. Only when he visits Baba places or Baba lovers are these restrictions not literally observed. He has only one meal a day and no tea or coffee. He does not like to drink water at public places. With such a background, the very thought of having non-vegetarian diet shocked him deeply. He appeared to be very confused. Casually, perhaps purposefully, Baba changed the subject and began to discuss other matters with Dr. Ghani. Was it a pretext to provide time for Mauni to think for himself and decide? Yeah, this was question actually. Mind is very tricky indeed. It does not admit an open defect. It is adept in wearing well and putting forth excuses. Mauni, instead of frankly confessing his inability, wrote on his slate, Baba, I keep no money. I am a poor person. How can I buy a meat dish and pay for a bottle of wine every day? Hearing this, Baba solemnly replied, "This is your lookout. You agreed to obey me 100%, and I have given you the orders. Just tell me if you can follow them willingly or not. I know that in this state of Maharashtra, there is a prohibition and wine cannot be had without obtaining a permit on medical grounds. If you obtain wine in some other way and drink it, you will be put into jail. But that is your problem." Mauni appeared even more puzzled. At this juncture, Baba added, "However, as you have expressed your inability about money, I assure you that it shall not be your problem. I shall arrange for it. But is that the main issue? Be frank. Say whether you are ready to obey me voluntarily and happily." Hesitation in decision. Mauni did not know that until 1932, Meher Baba did not allow his mandali to have eggs. He could not even eat cakes or chocolates. Because of that restriction, during Baba's first visit to the West, the mandali who accompanied him had to appease their hunger mostly with bread and butter, and it was winter. Nevertheless, it was winter. Nevertheless, Baba gradually granted them permission to have eggs and after a few years, fish and meat if they so desired. There was no must regarding diet from Baba, except except on grounds of health. It is not a diet that necessarily binds, but the thoughts of superiority and spirituality, which are generally associated with it, do bind. In Mauni's mind, there might have lurked such thoughts. Perhaps it was to work on deep layers of impressions that Baba gave such orders. What Baba expected was 100% dedication of the actions, good or bad, to him, with no reservations. Was such a state essential for the descent of Sadguru Kripa? Whatever it might be, Meher Baba, as the master psychologist, always knew the best way. After Baba's assurance about money, there was a fresh surge of thoughts in Mauni's mind. He was on the point of conveying yes. But just then Baba intervened and explained. Remember one more thing: 99% readiness with 1% hesitation is not desirable. Is not desirable, much less expected. In that case, it will be better for you to express an honest no. The obedience has to be unadulterated, total. Be frank, be quick. There are other waiting, and I have to call them. Now there arose a fresh countercurrent of thoughts in Mauni's mind. He felt nearly lost in that tempest. Presently he nodded no. Baba flashed one of his old, penetrating looks at him and conveyed through the board. Did I not tell you that you have aspired for the best, but it it is not so easy? Yet I am happy that at the end you have been honest enough to express no. Now forget completely these orders. Here are some fresh ones for you, which you must obey. No choice. For 1 year, go on a pilgrimage, visiting the holy places in India. Don't ask for money. Don't touch money. Be careful not to touch any woman in trains. or on crowded streets, if you happen to touch any woman, remember your dear mother. Beg for food. Don't cook food. Take darshan of sons you meet, but don't run after anyone. Good. He knows his game well. Mauni felt relieved and very happily agreed to obey Baba's orders. He had been, in fact, leading such a life for years. Fast, physical hardship, and travel were no problem for him. At the end, Baba blessed Mauni and conveyed, when you finish with the year's itinerary, itinerary, come and see me. We folded our hands to Baba with due reverence and left the room. We then had a discussion as to whether it was right on Mauni's part to convey no regarding the non-vegetarian diet. What on earth led me to such foolishness? Mauni thought. What on earth led me to such foolishness? Mauni thought. He felt that it was just a test and he had miserably failed. He realized that whatever order the master gives brings the highest benefit to the person concerned. We agreed on this point, and I was to tell Baba that Mauni was ready to obey the first set of orders. We were about to re-enter the room when impulsively, I felt that before going inside to Baba, it would be advisable to tell one of the Mandali about this situation. I did not recall the person to whom I told this, but I remember very well the gist of his reply. Past is past is past, and that game is lost with the perfect master. Every moment has an ever renewing significance. As for eating meat, even if Mauni is now ready to devour a live lamb, Baba should not be expected to reconsider the matter. In a way, that will be against the spirit of next orders. He, he further explained, it was Meher Baba's wish that Mauni asked for Sadguru Kripa, and it was equally his wish that Mauni prefer the second set of orders. Everything happens according to the divine will of Meher Baba. He knows his game well. It holds a deeper significance of which we are not aware. Dislikes blind as much as likes. The above explanation was enough for us to drop the idea of seeing Baba again, and the next day we returned to Kurdwadi to Mauni. It was nothing to make preparations for a year's journey to holy places in northern and southern India. He had only to pick up an extra dhoti and a begging bowl. Money he already had none. He was also to continue observing silence. He, in fact, enjoyed a hard life in which everything was taken in the spirit of sportsmanship. Regarding that, I am reminded of an incident at Guru Prasad, Pune, when I had an opportunity to stay with Baba. Every day after lunch, Baba would ask us what we had and how it tasted. Once he casually put a question to me, "Do you eat meat? Are you a non-vegetarian?" I replied, "Baba, mine is a buffer state. Personally, I do not relish meat. I prefer a vegetarian diet." Baba smiled and indicated, "Some make much about diet. Everything has its merits and demerits." It is true that what comes out of the mouth matters more than what goes into it. Yet, it is hard to disbelieve that diet and drinks do not influence one's thoughts and feelings. I have an acquaintance for whom spirituality without eggs and meat is far too primitive. Whereas one of my friends holds a view that even the sight of meat defiles spiritual life. Personally, I think that one should cautiously discriminate between the pampering of palate and the needs of the body. Whatever be the diet, it should keep the body light and consciousness fresh and alert. Once, when Baba was sitting with a group of his closer ones, he conveyed, here are some who dislike meat, and here are others who like it the most. Dislikes binds as much as likes. My concern is to free you from both. Love alone frees. But where self is, love is not, and where are not, you are not, love is. Meher Baba's words are as fresh as blooming roses, though they were conveyed years ago. Next
Jai Baba.
subtopic.
Karti, can we talk a little bit about this?
Sure.
But that liking bites you as much as is disliking. Why
Yes.
do you think Baba says that? I just want to put out the question.
I think that's connected to the detachment and equipoise, right? So anything that is, see, the likes and dislikes are a gradation, like good and bad. So either extreme or even either extreme is a problem because you're expressing an attachment by having uh, antipathy or hatred towards non-vegetarian as something that comes in the way of spirituality. You are actually creating a burden for yourself. You should be, if somebody is non-vegetarian and in the spiritual path, that's his sanskara. And if you are vegetarian, that's up to you. I think that's what I take away from it.
Yeah.
Jai Baba. Yeah, Karthik, to each his own. Karthik, can I request
Exactly.
you to underline or highlight the last part, which in the last paragraph?
Yeah. The Baba's quote.
Yeah, Baba's good. He conveyed.
Yeah, he conveyed, here are some who dislike meat, and here are others who like it the most. Bind as much as likes. My concern is to free you from both. Love alone frees. But where self is, love is not, and where you are not, love is.
So basically, likes and dislikes, we have to get rid of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't like Kerala
Actually,
sabji, eat that.
Mhm. Sorry.
It's not easy.
Okay, go ahead, Ashish.
No, no, no. I was just kidding. If you don't like Kerala sabji, eat Kerala sabji. That's what.
No, 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 no.
I
That's not
think
the point. Get
Mhm.
I
when
was just kidding. Yeah,
if
yeah.
you have a dislike for Karela, work on the dislike. Try to become neutral to Karela.
Mm,
That's
yeah.
all. Right?
yeah.
Yeah, Mahu.
Kartik, roll it up just a bit, just a bit. Roll it up just a bit, please. Um, from the previous paragraph we just read. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, here.
yeah.
Uh-huh. Where was I? Be from both. Uh-huh. Uh, I think the very deep and fine point is here. Okay, it's part of this green um, part that you highlighted. Yeah, we know anything that bring dogma or mm, hardcore opinion about it, it's binding. And when you fall in love with something like eating ice cream or doing this and that, that's also binding. We know that. But the way Papa explains it, it's so beautiful. He says, dislikes bind as much as likes. My concern is to free you from both. Love alone frees. And here's the catch. But where quote unquote self is, love is not. And where you are not, love is. So he explained it in a broader sense. And in a way, the way I got it is like he says, when you are liking or disliking, you're serving self, your own self. I like this, I don't like this. I like this, I don't like this, and have a hard idea about it. Um, Whereas when you have love, you don't think about this stuff anymore because love comes when you're not. So Baba takes us one step further. That he says, well, I want to free you from liking and disliking in order that your false self are not, so the real love can come in. You see what? So he's actually, it is embedded in here that the destination is love, not so much to get freed from liking and disliking. That's only probably prerequisite, but the destination is love, and that's what we need to focus on. Yeah, I thought I'd share that.
Yeah, dissolution of the ego. And when dissolution of the ego happens correctly and successfully, it is enveloped in love, love for everyone. And all these ego-led likes and dislikes vanish. Right. So, yeah.
Uh, Karthik, bang on. You're just
Yeah, that's
echoing
true.
what I thought, because this last sentence, and where you are, uh, sorry,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
is-
Sorry.
and
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you are not, love is. And here, you means ego and our, various desires. So where you are not, love is. So it's basically uh, making us to move from a dissolution of the ego, you, and to pure spiritual love is one way I look at it.
yeah.
Jai
Great.
Baba, the analogy I can think of here is good karma and bad karma. So, good karma is like golden chains, and bad karma is like iron chains. So,
Cheers.
whenever you're talking about the ego deals with duality, good, bad, plus, minus, and so on. So, definitely, when you're talking about desire, even with food, as he says, as long the food, either it's vegetarian or non-vegetarian, but it helps in your health, then it's okay. But if it's a form of like gluttony, gluttony is the extreme form of food attachment. We also have what we call as comfort food, based on junk food. But the idea here is that, when you're talking about love, there are so many different forms of love, as we know. Lust in the gross sphere, longing in the subtle sphere, and surrender in the mental sphere. So I think that the whole journey is all about renunciation of action, not renunciation in action, and you do whatever is necessary. So that's what I've understood. Because anyway, pure love is the gift of the perfect master. So you have to keep working at it. Hey, Baba.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
only other point that I would like to add is that in the uh, Hindu philosophy, there is tamasic and sattvic. So the non-vegetarian food typically attracts you towards that more, it pulls you. It has that pull, whereas the vegetarian food is not, if it is simply made. So you tend to get attracted or attached to non-vegetarian food more likely than getting attached to a particular type of vegetarian. Yes. And I also think about the mercy part. Though I do take non-vegetarian once in a while, but there is an element of mercy that we must consider, because too many animals being killed to satiate our hunger. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba, interesting conversation. So we'll stop at this point and connect back tomorrow and continue with discourses. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much
Kartik, I
for.
have one question.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking.
Go ahead.
I know we
Sure.
passed it, but do we know what happened to
Uh,
that girl? After those correspondence with Baba, and we don't know who she was because the name was not disclosed. But we don't know exactly what happened to her. Did she get married? Did she not to? Because she got good, coaching, good instruction from Baba, but we don't know what happened afterwards. That's that. And also, uh, I think the experience that Baba gave her in terms of show her how powerful her subtle body is, that could go up by the speed and and all that. And this gross body is nothing; it can't tolerate any of that. But um, but that's not very spiritual anyway, because Baba says even this subtle body and all this flying and this and that, it's even illusion. So I couldn't really understand the significance of that experience that Baba gave to that girl. You know what I mean? I don't know.
yeah, yeah, I agree with you in the sense that the whole uh, episode and what it's supposed to convey to us was not very obvious and clear. But then that's the nature of his work at many times where it's not for us, and it's not for us to understand completely what he's trying to do with each person. But yeah,
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for
yeah,
reminding me.
yeah,
That's very true. We
yeah,
cannot
yeah,
I
understand
think Jai Baba,
100%.
the instruction was specific to that particular person.
exactly.
Basically, Baba used to give specific customized instruction to each individual based on their sanskaras. But I think in the big picture, if you want to understand that particular reading, then the two chapters in discourses, sanctification of marriage and sex, and the two chapters clearly gives us the big picture as to what is the right approach towards marriage and sex and children. Jai Baba.
Yes.
Yeah,
Rightly
yeah,
said,
sure.
Kama. It's the two chapters are problem of sex and sanctification of married life.
Yeah, yeah, we've read that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever my philosophy, not philosophy, my saying is, whatever that can speed us up, so then we can reach the destination, we must. Because according to our sanskaras, by now we should know what our weaknesses are and what our strengths are. And don't fall into our weaknesses, and use our strength to get closer and closer to Baba. I think that's, it's as you guys said, every individual is different. My weakness
Yeah.
might be different than, the guy sitting next to me or whatnot. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
May you work on your weaknesses, and may you strengthen your strengths and make progress on the path.
Yes, that's the
Yes.
Yeah,
intent.
that's it. Jai Baba.
By next year, we may be going to the third plane. No, I'm just joking.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Have a good
sure.
morning,
Yeah.
actually, you guys.
Yeah.
See you
Have a
tomorrow.
good
Jai
one.
Baba.
Thank you so
Right.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Jai
Thank
Baba.
you.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai
We
Baba.
love
Jai
you.
Baba, everybody.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba, Jai Baba.